Strength is often imagined as something dramatic, a grand display of power, an extraordinary feat that takes people's breath away. But true strength does not usually arrive in thunder or spectacle. It is born softly in the quiet corners of your life, in the moments that no one else notices. It begins when you wake up and choose to rise even though your body aches for more rest. It begins when you pick up a task you would rather delay, but you move forward anyway. It begins when you speak the truth, even though silence would be easier. These moments rarely look impressive from the outside, yet they are the building blocks of inner power. Strength does not wait for perfect conditions. It is forged in the middle of your imperfections. It is not about already knowing how to endure, but about daring to take the first small step. Imagine a river that begins as nothing more than a trickle of water from the mountain. It is easy to overlook at the start. But given time, persistence, and flow, that trickle carves valleys, moves stones, and nourishes life all along its path. Your willpower is the same. At first, it feels like a fragile stream. But when nurtured with daily choices, it grows into something unstoppable. Too often, people underestimate the value of small beginnings. They wait for a perfect surge of motivation, believing that strength must feel large and overwhelming before it counts. But greatness is not waiting to be handed to you in one grand moment. Greatness is accumulated choice by choice, step by step. Every time you act with discipline, you are adding one more link to a chain that becomes unbreakable. Think about your day. Somewhere within it you face a moment of decision. Do you move or do you stay still? Do you push forward or do you give in to comfort? These are not just passing moments, they are the shaping of your identity. Each time you choose the harder but truer path, you confirm something within yourself, that you are capable of becoming more than you were yesterday. Strength is not loud. It does not need applause or recognition. Often the most powerful victories are the ones that happen when no one else is watching. The victory of staying consistent with a habit, the victory of choosing patience over anger, the victory of beginning again after failure. These quiet triumphs are the foundations upon which all future resilience is built. You may not notice the change at first. It will feel subtle, almost invisible. But strength grows in layers. Like a tree whose roots deepen silently underground, your inner discipline spreads wide and strong long before the visible results appear. One day, without realizing it, you will look back and see how far you have come, and it will all trace back to these gentle beginnings. Do not despise the small things. They are not insignificant. They are the soil in which greatness is planted. The smallest decision to rise above laziness, to speak with kindness, to persist with focus, these are the choices that write your story. And over time, they create a foundation so steady that no storm can uproot you. There is comfort in knowing that strength does not demand perfection. It does not ask you to leap mountains in a single day. It simply asks you to begin right where you are with what you have. You do not need to feel ready. You only need to act. And with each action, readiness grows. Picture yourself as a craftsman shaping stone. At first, the block is rough, unformed, unrecognizable. Every strike of the chisel feels small, almost insignificant. But day by day, the shape emerges. With each tap, the vision hidden within the stone is revealed. Your life works the same way. Every small action, repeated with care, is shaping you into something stronger, clearer, and truer. You may be tempted to overlook the power of today's choices, but today is all you ever truly have. Tomorrow is only shaped by the decisions you make now. By embracing the small beginnings of strength today, you build a foundation for a tomorrow filled with resilience, clarity, and confidence. Strength, then, is not something you wait for. It is something you practice moment by moment. It is the gentle, steady rhythm of becoming, the daily decision to choose progress over comfort, truth over ease, discipline over drift. And while it begins quietly, its echoes will grow louder with time until they fill every corner of your life. There are moments in your life when everything changes, though at first they seem almost ordinary. A simple choice, a quiet turning of the mind, a decision so small it might escape notice, yet it redirects the entire course of your journey. This is the silent power of one decision. You may think strength comes from years of effort, from monument events, from circumstances outside your control. But in truth, it begins with something smaller, with the decision to act. One choice carries the weight to shift your life. One moment of resolve can alter the path beneath your feet. Picture a ship at sea. A single degree of change in its direction seems insignificant at first. But as days pass, that single degree carries the vessel to a completely different shore. Your decisions work the same way. The choice you make today may appear small, almost unworthy of attention, but over time it determines where you arrive. The beauty and the weight of this truth is that you are never powerless. At any moment you hold the ability to choose. You can choose progress over stagnation. You can choose courage over hesitation. You can choose persistence over surrender. Each decision becomes a ripple in the water, spreading far beyond the moment in which it was made. Think back to your life so far. There were crossroads, weren't there? Times when one choice led you into growth, while another might have led you astray. Perhaps you decided to stay consistent when it was easier to quit. Perhaps you decided to speak when silence would have been more comfortable. These choices, though they seemed small at the time, built the foundation of who you are now. That is the silent power of one decision. It does not always announce itself, but it shapes your character. And once your character is shaped, your destiny begins to follow. The mind often resists this idea. It whispers that small decisions don't matter, that only the big moments hold power. But this is a lie. Big moments are simply the result of small decisions multiplied. The person who decides every day to honor their commitments arrives at the big moment ready, prepared, strong. The one who waits for inspiration or ease arrives unprepared and overwhelmed. This is why discipline matters. Discipline is not built in one day. It is built in the repeated act of choosing the harder thing when it would be easier to turn away. Each time you make that choice, you train your mind to trust itself, and trust in yourself is one of the greatest strengths you can carry. Imagine two paths before you. One is smooth, lined with comfort, requiring little of you. The other is steep, uneven, demanding effort with each step. Most people drift toward the first path, but the second path, the one that asks more of you, is the one that builds strength, and it only takes one decision to place your foot there. It may feel like a small decision to begin writing, to practice discipline, to face discomfort, but in reality it is never small. Each time you choose that harder path, you reaffirm your identity as someone who does not quit. Each choice strengthens the roots of resilience within you. This is how transformation begins. Not in sudden revolutions, but in steady acts of decision. One choice to rise when you could stay down. One choice to persist when the world says to stop. One choice to remain loyal to the vision you hold for your life. So ask yourself, what decision lies before you right now that you have been postponing? What step waits for your courage to take it? Perhaps it is the decision to begin a habit, to leave behind what no longer serves you, or to speak truth where you have stayed silent. Whatever it is, it holds more weight than you may realize, because this decision will ripple into tomorrow, and the day after, and the years that follow. Do not underestimate the silent power of one decision. It does not need to be dramatic. It does not need to impress anyone else. Its power lies in its simplicity, in the way it shifts your direction, in the way it reshapes who you are becoming. Every great journey begins with one choice, and that choice is always in your hands. Comfort is seductive. It arrives softly, offering warmth and familiarity. It tells you that you deserve rest, that the easier way is the wiser way, that tomorrow will always give you another chance. But beneath its gentle voice lies a quiet danger, Comfort does not strengthen you. It weakens you. It does not expand you. It contains you. You have likely felt this before. That moment when you chose the couch instead of the gym. That moment when you stayed silent instead of speaking your truth. That moment when you delayed action, telling yourself, later. Each time comfort wrapped its arms around you, disguising itself as care but leaving you smaller than you could have been. The pull of comfort is strong because it aligns with your instincts for safety. Your mind is wired to avoid pain, to seek ease, to conserve energy. But the very instincts that once ensured survival now often hold you back from growth. For in today's world, survival is not enough. To thrive, to build strength, to achieve, you must resist the subtle chains of ease. Picture a river. On its surface, the current flows steadily, carrying anything that does not resist. To drift is effortless, but to reach the other side, to claim new ground, you must swim against the pull. Comfort is that current, invisible, natural, persistent. If you do not resist it, it will carry you into mediocrity without you ever realizing how far you have drifted. This does not mean comfort is your enemy. Rest is necessary, and recovery matters. But comfort becomes a trap when it is chosen out of fear, when it is used as an escape rather than as renewal. Growth comes not in surrendering to comfort, but in choosing challenge with intention. Every act of discipline is a decision to resist ease. When you wake early to pursue your goals, you resist the pull of the blanket. When you face a difficult conversation instead of avoiding it, you resist the pull of silence. When you continue forward despite the weight of fatigue, you resist the pull of surrender. These are the moments where your will strengthens, where your character grows firm. Think of strength like a muscle. If you never expose it to resistance, it never grows. Comfort denies you resistance, and with it the very chance to expand. But each time you step beyond ease, each time you choose the harder road, you place weight upon your inner muscles, and they grow. What once felt impossible becomes natural. What once seemed unbearable becomes your new normal. There will always be temptation. The temptation to stay small. The temptation to remain where you are because moving forward feels uncertain. But uncertainty is the birthplace of growth. When you walk willingly into discomfort, you tell your mind and body, we are capable of. Consider this truth. Your greatest achievements will never be born from comfort. They will rise from the days you challenged yourself, when you didn't feel like it, from the nights you pressed on while tired, from the moments you said no to ease, and yes to effort. Comfort gives you nothing but what you already have. Challenge gives you who you are becoming. So how do you resist the pull of comfort? You begin by noticing it. Catch it in the small decisions, the impulse to delay, the urge to retreat, the desire to choose the softer path. Once you see it, pause. Remind yourself that every easy choice carries a hidden cost, and every difficult choice carries a hidden reward. Then act. Step forward. Prove to yourself that comfort does not control you. This practice is not about rejecting peace or rest. It is about choosing growth when growth calls. It is about living awake rather than asleep, deliberate rather than drifting. The more you do this, the stronger your will becomes. The stronger your will becomes, the less comfort can pull you back. And as you learn to resist comfort, you begin to understand something deeper. Strength is not built in the absence of struggle, but in your relationship with it. Imagine your willpower as a muscle hidden within you. Just like the muscles of your body, it is not born strong. It grows only when you ask it to lift, to hold, to endure. Ignore it, and it softens. Use it and it expands. This muscle of self-command is the foundation of discipline, and every choice you make is a weight upon it. Too often people assume willpower is something you either have or do not have, as though some are born with iron discipline while others are destined to struggle. But the truth is far more encouraging. Your willpower is not fixed. It is not a gift reserved for the few. It is a capacity within you, ready to grow if you choose to train it. Think of the last time you resisted temptation, even in a small way. Maybe you held your tongue instead of saying something hurtful. Maybe you chose water when you craved sugar. Maybe you kept working when distraction called. That moment, though small, was training. It was a repetition for your willpower muscle. Just as a single push-up seems insignificant, but contributes to strength over time, every act of self-command adds to your inner resilience. The challenge is that this muscle, like any other, resists the early stages of training. The first time you push against your habits, your mind protests, your emotions argue, your body seeks comfort. It feels heavy, unnatural, uncomfortable. Yet this discomfort is the signal that growth is happening. Muscles do not grow through ease. They grow through resistance. The same is true for self-command. The mistake many people make is waiting for motivation before they act. But motivation is fleeting. It rises with inspiration and falls with fatigue. If you depend on motivation alone, your actions will always be inconsistent. Self-command is different. It does not ask how you feel. It does not wait for the perfect conditions. It simply directs you forward, regardless of mood. You strengthen this self-command through deliberate practice. Begin with small daily challenges. Wake up at the time you set, even when you want to sleep longer. Keep your word in small commitments, even when no one is watching. Complete a task fully, resisting the urge to cut corners. Each of these small victories builds confidence. They remind you that you are in charge of yourself, not your impulses. Over time, you can increase the weight. Larger challenges: pursuing a difficult goal, breaking a long-standing habit, facing a fear, become the next stage of training. And just like physical training, your progress compounds. What once required immense effort becomes natural. What once felt overwhelming becomes routine. But here is the deeper truth. Self-command is not only about resisting temptation. It is about alignment. It is about ensuring that your actions match your values and your vision, even when it costs you comfort. Without this alignment, your willpower becomes scattered, wasted on battles that do not serve you. But when you know what you stand for, when you see clearly where you want to go, every act of self-command moves you closer to becoming the person you intend to be. There will be setbacks. You will have days where you falter, where comfort wins, where habits pull you back. Do not see these as failures. See them as moments to strengthen awareness. The muscle of self-command is not built in perfection, but in persistence. Each time you return, each time you recommit, you are teaching yourself resilience. Practical tools can help. Remove unnecessary temptations from your environment, just as you would clear clutter from your workspace. Build rituals that support your discipline: a morning routine, an evening reflection, a set time for focus. Surround yourself with people who elevate your standard rather than lower it. These small structures become scaffolding for your willpower until it can stand tall on its own. But perhaps the most powerful tool of all is awareness. When you catch yourself at the crossroads, the moment when your old habit whispers for comfort and your higher self calls for strength, pause. In that pause lies power. In that pause, you are no longer automatic, no longer drifting. You are choosing, and every time you choose with intention, your self-command grows sharper, stronger, and more reliable. Over months and years, this muscle becomes something extraordinary. It transforms from a fragile thread into a sturdy rope, one that can pull you through storms and setbacks, one that can carry you toward goals that once seemed unreachable. It is the difference between living by chance and living by choice. The truth is, mastering self-command is not about living without struggle. It is about becoming stronger than the struggle. It is about directing yourself even when fear, doubt, or fatigue attempt to lead. And as your willpower muscle grows, you realize something powerful. You are no longer just reacting to life. You are shaping it. Every day is a brick. Some days are strong, laid with intention, pressed firmly into place. Others are weak, chipped by distraction, carelessly set where they do not belong. And over time, these bricks form the structure of your life. If the placement is careless, the structure wobbles. If the placement is deliberate, The structure stands tall, unshakable. This is the discipline of daily alignment, the practice of ensuring that the small choices you make today harmonize with the vision you hold for tomorrow. It is not about perfection. It is about direction. The question is not whether you stumble or pause, but whether the path of your days consistently leads you closer to the life you are building. Too often people treat their days as isolated events, disconnected from their greater purpose. They chase urgent demands while their deeper priorities go unattended. They win a moment but lose the larger pattern. But your life is not built in grand gestures. It is built in the quiet repetition of aligned days. What you do daily is what you become permanent. Think of alignment as the compass of your discipline. Without it you may exert great effort, but you move in circles. With it, even small steps carry you in the right direction. One aligned action today, repeated tomorrow, creates momentum. And momentum, once built, becomes the most powerful force on your side. So how do you practice daily alignment? It begins with clarity. You must know what you value, what you aim for, what vision compels you forward. Without a vision, discipline feels like punishment. With a vision, discipline feels like freedom, the freedom of knowing that every effort serves a purpose. Once your vision is clear, your task is to translate it into the language of daily actions. If your vision is health, what does that mean today? If your vision is mastery, how will you practice today? If your vision is service, who will you impact today? Alignment is the bridge between the vastness of your dreams and the simplicity of your daily routine. This discipline also requires honesty. You must be willing to measure your actions against your intentions, to ask whether how you spend your hours reflects who you say you want to become. It is easy to make excuses. It is easy to tell yourself that one wasted day does not matter. But alignment is not about one day, it is about the chain of days. And every broken link weakens the chain. Yet alignment is not rigidity. It does not mean controlling every detail or denying yourself all flexibility. It means that within the flow of life you keep returning to your true north. Some days will move faster, others slower, but the direction remains steady, like a river. You may curve and bend, but you always move toward the sea. The most practical way to strengthen daily alignment is to create rituals, small, repeatable practices that keep your day tethered to your values. Morning rituals to set your intention. Evening rituals to reflect on your progress. Simple checkpoints throughout the day that remind you of your purpose. These rituals act as anchors, keeping you grounded when distraction tries to pull you adrift. And here lies the beauty. Aligned days build not only results, but identity. Each time you live in alignment, you confirm to yourself, this is who I am. Slowly, your identity shifts. Discipline no longer feels like something you must force. It feels like something natural, something consistent with your very being. But remember, misalignment compounds just as alignment does. Neglect the small daily choices and the structure of your life begins to tilt. At first, the tilt seems harmless, even invisible. But over months and years, it becomes impossible to ignore. That is why alignment is not optional. It is essential. It is the quiet safeguard that ensures your effort is never wasted, your strength never scattered. Each day asks you, will you live in harmony with your vision or will you drift? Will you place a strong brick or a weak one? This choice, repeated across weeks, across months, across years, becomes your life. Struggle is not the enemy. It is not the shadow that hunts you, nor the barrier designed to keep you small. Struggle is the fire that refines you. It is the sculptor's chisel against stone, shaping you into something sharper, clearer, and unbreakable. Yet so often you see struggle as unfair, as a punishment, as something to escape from. But in truth, it is one of the greatest invitations life will ever extend to you. The invitation to grow stronger. When you face a struggle, your instinct may be to recoil, to wish for ease, to long for comfort. But comfort does not carve depth into your character. Ease does not stretch your capacity. Growth demands resistance. Just as the body only builds muscle when it is strained beyond its current limits, the mind and spirit only gain resilience when tested by challenge. Without that resistance, there is no expansion. Think of the seed pressed deep beneath the soil. To reach the light, it must push against the weight of the earth, splitting itself open, forcing new roots downward and a fragile shoot upward. If the soil offered no resistance, the seed would never anchor. and the sprout would never be strong enough to stand. Your struggles serve the same purpose. They root you deeper and stretch you higher. The first step in transforming struggle into strength is to change your relationship with it. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "What is this teaching me? What is this preparing me for?" That shift in perspective turns obstacles into training partners. Suddenly, struggle is not a wall, but a mirror. It shows you where you are still fragile, where your discipline falters, and where your will can be forged sharper. Consider moments in your past when you believed you could not endure. Maybe it was heartbreak, rejection, loss, or failure. Yet here you are, breathing, moving, alive. You are not the same person who entered that storm. You are stronger because of it. The struggle did not erase you. It refined you. It carved out parts of you that would never have been revealed in the light of ease. But strength is not built passively. You must choose to step into the fire with awareness. This means embracing the discipline of staying steady when the mind screams for escape. It means showing up again and again when results are not immediate. When progress feels slow, when your emotions want to collapse. That is the training of will. Every moment of struggle becomes an opportunity to practice command over your impulses, to prove to yourself that you can act from principle, not from comfort. There is a simple truth. Life will give you struggle whether you choose it or not, but discipline allows you to transform that struggle into strength rather than bitterness. When you view challenge as your ally, you no longer waste energy fighting its existence. Instead, you harness it, like a sailor who learns to use the wind, even a storm wind, to guide the ship forward. One powerful way to practice this transformation is through reframing. The mind interprets experience through the lens you give it. If you call your struggle a curse, it becomes heavy. If you call it training, it becomes fuel. Try saying to yourself, "This difficulty is not breaking me. It is building me. This resistance is not my enemy. It is my gym." Notice how those words shift your inner posture. Where once you felt victimized, now you feel engaged. Where once you felt helpless, now you feel prepared. Another practice is to break your struggle into smaller, deliberate steps. When the weight feels overwhelming, you focus only on the next breath, the next action, the next choice. Strength is not formed in a single leap, but in consistent, steady effort. Each small act of persistence is a thread woven into the fabric of your resilience. Over time, those threads form an unbreakable rope you can rely on in every storm. And finally, struggle becomes strength when you embrace it as part of your story. Every scar, every setback, every moment of endurance becomes proof of your ability to rise. They are not signs of weakness, but of resilience. To deny struggle is to deny the very soil from which your greatness grows. To accept it, to work with it, is to step into the deeper power already waiting within you. So when struggle arrives, do not shrink. Meet it with calm eyes and steady breath. Ask what it has come to teach you. Use it to train your discipline, to fortify your will, to deepen your roots. In time, you will look back and realize that what once felt unbearable has become the very reason you are unshakable. Struggle does not diminish you. It reveals you. It does not close your path. It sharpens your steps along it. And every time you rise from difficulty with courage, you prove to yourself that strength is not something you wait for. It is something you create, moment by moment, choice by choice, through the alchemy of adversity. Your mind holds an extraordinary power. Every thought you give attention to is like a seed, planted deep within. With time and repetition, that seed grows into belief, habit, and ultimately the direction of your life. But there is one truth you must never forget. Your mental energy is limited. Like a battery, it can be charged, drained, or wasted. How you use it determines whether you move forward with strength or stay stuck in cycles of exhaustion. Protecting your mind's energy is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Without protection, your focus becomes scattered, your clarity dissolves, and your discipline weakens. Yet with protection, you become sharp, resilient, and deeply aligned with your highest vision. The question is not whether your energy is spent, but how and where you allow it to flow. Think for a moment of a river. When it is contained within strong banks, it flows with force and direction, carving valleys and giving life to everything in its path. But when that same river spills over without boundaries, it turns into a flood, chaotic, and destructive. Your mind's energy works the same way. Boundaries keep it strong, purposeful, and life-giving. Lack of boundaries leaves it drained and scattered. One of the greatest drains on mental energy is distraction. Every time you allow your attention to be pulled in directions that do not serve your growth, you leak strength. A single notification, a scroll through endless feeds, a conversation filled with gossip, each of these takes a slice of your energy. On their own, they may seem small, but like tiny holes in a vessel, they eventually leave you empty. Protecting your energy means choosing what truly deserves your attention and sealing the leaks that weaken your focus. Another silent thief of energy is negativity, whether it comes from your own thoughts or from the voices around you. Negativity weighs heavily on the mind. Doubt, criticism, and fear are like shadows. They grow larger when you stare at them. To guard your energy, you must be deliberate about the voices you allow into your space. Ask yourself, does this thought strengthen me or weaken me? Does this voice lift me or drain me? When you learn to notice the weight of negativity, you also learn the power of refusing to carry it. Mental clutter is another enemy of strength. Unfinished tasks, unmade decisions, and unresolved emotions all pile up inside the mind, like too many tabs open on a computer. They may seem harmless, but together they consume enormous amounts of energy. The antidote is clarity. Each time you make a decision, you free up space. Each time you complete a task you've delayed, you reclaim energy. Each time you pause to breathe and release tension, you lighten your mental load. Protecting your mind is not always about doing more. It is often about clearing space so your energy can flow freely. A practical way to protect your energy is to create rituals of renewal. Just as your body needs sleep to recover, your mind needs moments of intentional stillness, silence, journaling, meditation, or a simple walk without distractions. These are not empty pauses, but powerful resets. They recharge your mental battery and prepare you to engage the world with clarity. Without them, your mind is like a warrior who never lays down his sword. Eventually, exhaustion overtakes skill. Equally important is the company you keep. Minds influence minds whether you notice it or not. Spend time with people who are constantly complaining, doubting, or criticizing, and you will absorb their energy. Spend time with those who dream, strive, and encourage, and you will absorb that instead. Protecting your mind means being intentional about your environment, not as an act of isolation, but as an act of alignment. You are shaping the soil in which your thoughts grow. Remember, protecting your energy does not mean avoiding life's challenges. It means meeting them with strength, not depletion. When your energy is preserved and directed, you have the capacity to face difficulty with resilience. You have the clarity to see beyond immediate problems and the patience to act with wisdom rather than impulse. A guarded mind is not a closed mind. It is a strong one that chooses carefully what to allow in and what to release. Every day you face a choice, to let your energy be consumed by noise or to channel it toward what truly matters. When you learn to guard your mental space, you discover that discipline becomes lighter because your strength is no longer leaking into distractions. Your willpower lasts longer because you are not fighting unnecessary battles, and your vision becomes clearer because your mind is no longer cluttered with what does not belong. The most powerful version of you is not the one who does more, but the one who directs energy with precision. Protect your mind and you protect the foundation of every other discipline you build. Your progress is a chain, each day a link. When one day is skipped, the chain weakens. When a day is claimed with purposeful action, the chain grows stronger. Momentum is born in the quiet accumulation of effort, not in a single heroic push. Your most powerful victories are often invisible at first, revealed only in the strength of the pattern you create. Consistency is deceptively simple. It asks for no grand gestures, no dramatic leaps. Instead, it asks for small, repeated choices. Choosing to wake with intention. Choosing to act when it would be easier to rest. Choosing to honor your commitments to yourself. Each choice is a link forged in willpower, forming a chain that connects your present actions to the person you are becoming. Imagine a blacksmith hammering iron. Each strike alone is insufficient to shape the metal, but with repeated steady blows the iron bends, reshapes, and hardens. Your daily actions work in the same way. They forge habits, sculpt character, and condition your mind for resilience. The chain grows not because one day was perfect, but because over time, imperfection is outweighed by commitment. Each link matters. The unbroken chain is more than a metaphor. It is a strategy. It transforms discipline from a burden into a natural rhythm. When you honor the chain, you remove friction from future choices. Actions become easier because you are no longer negotiating with your willpower. You are following a path already worn smooth by repetition. One successful day does not guarantee the next, but a chain of days strengthens the habit until it becomes instinctive. Yet the chain is fragile. One day of surrender, one decision to prioritize comfort over progress, creates a gap. That gap introduces hesitation. It reminds you that momentum can be lost as quickly as it is gained. This is why vigilance matters. Guard your chain by protecting your energy, your focus, and your commitment. Treat each day as sacred because the strength of your future self depends on the links you create now. To build the chain, begin with small, deliberate actions. Identify what matters most in your day and execute it without delay. Morning rituals, focused work, and intentional reflection are all links that accumulate unseen power. Resist the urge to overcomplicate. The brilliance of consistency lies in its simplicity. One deliberate act repeated over time becomes unbreakable. Accountability strengthens the chain. When you externalize your commitment, writing it down, sharing it with a trusted ally, and tracking your progress, you reinforce the link between intention and action. Visibility transforms an abstract discipline into tangible momentum. Each completed day becomes proof, a reminder that your will is active, present, and capable. Another crucial element is self-forgiveness. Even the strongest chains can experience weakness. A missed day does not mean failure. It is a reminder to resume immediately with renewed focus. The chain is continuous, not because it is flawless, but because you return to it without hesitation. Momentum is resilient, but it requires your conscious engagement to remain unbroken. Consistency is also about aligning with your deeper vision. When your daily actions reflect your highest values, each link carries meaning. The chain is not built from random tasks, but from purposeful choices that inch you closer to who you want to become. The more your days mirror your intentions, the less effort it takes to maintain the rhythm. Motivation rises naturally when action aligns with purpose. Over time, the chain transforms you. It makes discipline automatic, decisions easier, and willpower nearly effortless. You no longer battle inertia because your momentum carries you forward. Each day reinforces the last, creating an upward spiral of competence, confidence, and quiet strength. The unbroken chain is not merely a measure of action. It is a testament to your identity as someone who shows up consistently regardless of challenge. Your chain is your legacy, a silent record of your dedication. Each link, however small, contributes to the unyielding momentum that shapes your life. Guard it, nourish it, respect it, and as you do, the future will carry you forward in ways your present self can only begin to imagine. Your strongest asset is the trust you cultivate with yourself. Every promise kept, every commitment honored is a vote of confidence in your own capability. The person who consistently fulfills their intentions is no longer at the mercy of fleeting motivation. They are anchored in principle. Each decision to honor your word reinforces your identity as someone who follows through, someone whose actions align with purpose. Commitments are deceptively simple. You might say, "I will wake early," or "I will complete this task today." Yet each small pledge carries weight far beyond the moment. When you honor a commitment, you silently declare that your word matters, that your life is built on action rather than empty intention. This is the quiet power of being reliable, of letting your actions speak with consistency. Think of a stone dropped into water. The ripple it creates expands far beyond the point of contact. Each commitment you keep sends ripples through your habits, your mindset, and the people around you. Reliability is contagious. It inspires trust, builds credibility, and strengthens your mental resilience. Conversely, a broken promise, even a minor one, leaves a crack in your self-respect. Those cracks, if ignored, grow, eroding the foundation of your discipline and confidence. The process of becoming the keeper of your commitments requires conscious effort. It begins with awareness, understanding what you pledge, why you pledge it, and the consequences of neglect. Write your commitments down, make them visible, and remind yourself of the power behind each one. Do not rely solely on fleeting motivation or the hope that you will feel like it. Strength lies in following through, even when desire wavers, when fatigue whispers, or when excuses beckon. Consistency and reliability are intertwined. Your chain of unbroken days depends not only on action but on trust, Trust in your ability to execute what you say you will do. Each day you honor a commitment, you add a link to this chain, reinforcing momentum and solidifying your identity. The strength of your chain is measured not only in completed tasks, but in the alignment of intention and execution. Self-discipline is a form of loyalty, loyalty to your future self, to your purpose, to the principles that define you. When you honor your word, you are actively shaping the person you want to become. Missed commitments erode that trust, leaving you negotiating with self-doubt and wavering resolve. By contrast, keeping your word strengthens your mental fortitude, making future challenges easier to meet, because you have proven to yourself that you are capable, reliable, and consistent. There will be moments when honoring a commitment is inconvenient or uncomfortable. This is the true test of character. Strength is not built in comfort. It is forged in the friction between desire and responsibility. In these moments, remind yourself why the promise matters, why it is a reflection of the person you are becoming. Do not allow temporary ease to compromise your long-term integrity. Becoming reliable is not about perfection. It is about steadfastness. Even if you stumble, return to your commitments immediately. A minor lapse does not define you. Your response defines you. Take responsibility. Resume the path and reinforce the habit of follow-through. Momentum is preserved, not in flawless execution, but in the resilience to keep going, again and again. Reliability extends beyond self-discipline. It shapes your relationships, your work, and your reputation. People notice those who consistently deliver, even when unobserved. When your word becomes synonymous with trust, your influence grows, not through loud declarations, but through quiet demonstration. Your commitments, honored consistently, are proof of your integrity and inner strength. Finally, understand that each commitment is an investment. You invest in your future self, in the life you are building, and in the legacy you leave behind. The keeper of commitments does not merely act. They embody a principle, a standard that cannot be shaken by distraction or temptation. The strength of your will is reflected in the unbroken chain of promises you keep, each link a testament to your unwavering resolve. Quiet strength is not measured in dramatic victories or grand declarations. It lives in the gentle insistence of your choices, in the deliberate steps you take when no one is watching. It is the rhythm of daily actions aligned with intention, the subtle authority of a mind that has learned to govern itself. You have come this far by keeping your word, building consistency, and transforming struggle into momentum. Now the question becomes, how do you carry this strength into every corner of your life, letting it guide you steadily, without force or frenzy? The first principle is awareness. A life guided by quiet strength is conscious, not reactive. Each decision, each thought, each action is an opportunity to affirm the person you are becoming. You notice the small moments when patience is required, when discomfort tempts you to retreat, when distractions beckon. In these moments, your strength is expressed, not in resistance alone, but in choice. You choose integrity over convenience, presence over mindless reaction, courage over ease. Your energy is finite, and the way you direct it matters. You no longer waste force on fruitless battles or fleeting pleasures. Instead, you invest in the arenas that matter most: your growth, your discipline, your relationships, and your purpose. Quiet strength is not the absence of challenge. It is the ability to meet challenge without being consumed by it. It is the calm eye in the storm, the steady hand that guides the course even when currents threaten to sway you. This strength is cumulative. Each promise you keep, each day you honor your commitments, each discomfort you endure in service of growth, adds a layer to your character. The cumulative effect is profound. Your mind becomes disciplined, your will becomes reliable, and your sense of self becomes unshakable. You no longer need external validation to act rightly, because the measure of your life resides within the alignment of your intentions and your deeds. Reflection is another cornerstone. A quiet life of strength requires looking inward with honesty and compassion. You notice patterns, identify weaknesses, and acknowledge victories. This is not a practice of judgment, but of cultivation. By understanding your tendencies, you learn where you need to apply effort, and where you can allow trust in your established habits to carry you forward. Strength becomes effortless in areas where you have built reliable systems and routines, where action flows naturally from your cultivated character. There is also the matter of influence. A life guided by quiet strength radiates outward. Your consistency, reliability, and integrity create a subtle force field that shapes the environment around you. People respond not only to what you do, but to the energy you carry. Your calm decisiveness inspires trust. Your focus encourages clarity, and your presence communicates a standard of discipline that others feel without words. Influence in this sense is quiet but pervasive, a reflection of the life you have built internally. Balance is essential. Quiet strength does not mean rigidity or isolation. It means measured presence. You protect your energy, but you engage where it matters. You exercise restraint, but you act decisively when necessary. You allow stillness to coexist with action, reflection to coexist with progress. Strength becomes a state of being rather than a temporary effort, a natural extension of who you are rather than a performance you must maintain. Every choice becomes a declaration. Waking early, completing a task, listening fully, speaking honestly, and showing compassion, each act is a thread in the fabric of your life. Together, they create a tapestry of integrity and discipline. Over time, these choices compound into a force that carries you forward effortlessly. The small, quiet decisions are no longer small. They are the architecture of a life that reflects the strength you have cultivated. As you move forward, remember that quiet strength is enduring because it is internal. External circumstances may fluctuate, challenges may arise, and others may falter, but your power resides in the alignment of your mind, your heart, and your actions. When you act consistently, honor your word, and meet difficulty with calm resolve, you cultivate a life that is not swayed by chaos or opinion. You become a living testament to the principle that discipline and integrity outlast distraction and inconsistency. True strength is not shown in what you can dominate or achieve in moments of spectacle. It is revealed in the quiet mastery of your own life, the steady application of purpose, and the grace with which you navigate challenge. Each day is an opportunity to affirm your commitment to this life, to carry forward the habits, principles, and resilience you have built, and to embody the person you have chosen to become.